Welcome back to Counting the Cost, your weekly business stop here on Al Jazeera. I'm Kamal Santa Maria at the air show in Dubai. And we've told you all about the military side of things, the luxury side of things, but let's not forget the regular dogfight. Boeing versus Airbus, it is a feature of any air show anywhere in the world, and it's still a very significant game, even in times of economic recession. I'll give a few background numbers to consider before we move on. Back in 2007, Boeing and Airbus sold nearly 1,500 airplanes each. We had this financial crisis. In the year that began, Boeing sold more than 650 aircraft. Airbus, a lot more. It wasn't bad going, but then look at this now. This year, Airbus has sold just 123 jets, Boeing 80. That is dramatic in anyone's book. I'm going to bring Dan Nolan in again now to talk a little bit more about this, because Dan, we make the point about the economic crisis. I've been going on and on about the effect that that's had there, but quite frankly, after the last air show here, anyone's expectations would have to be a little bit tempered.
That's right, Kamal. There was simply no way they could match those figures from 2007 when $155 billion worth of planes were sold. To give you an idea of how big that figure is, it's almost the yearly GDP of Egypt. So there's no way that could be matched, but they're still all out there in the middle of a recession trying to do their best to sell some planes. So let's take a look at what the civilian aircraft manufacturers have been up to.
The A380's dramatic display of twists and turns, a reflection of the Super Jumbo's tumultuous life, plagued by production problems and constant delays that eventually resulted in the resignations of 3 top Airbus executives in 2006. Despite facing further delays and racking up penalty fees for late delivery, at least the current Airbus boss can rest a little easier, knowing the A380 has been carrying passengers for 2 years. Something arch-rival Boeing can still only dream of with its own flagship, the 787 Dreamliner. The closest you can get to one of those at the air show is this 787 flight simulator. With 840 orders, the long-haul Dreamliner is one of the most in-demand aircraft in the world. Delivery was promised last year, but it's only next month that it will have its first test flight.
So who can step up to the plate and take advantage while the big two are mired in delays? Well, the Russian firm Sukhoi is facing just as many problems with its superjet. And the Chinese have military jets on display here, but no passenger aircraft. That leaves these guys, Embraer from Brazil.
It signed a deal in Dubai to sell 5 of its E-Jet series to Oman Air for around $177 million. Embraer makes more commercial jets under 120 seats than anyone else in the world, but hasn't yet decided if it wants to take on the 2 big boys making bigger planes.
These new technology airplanes, they bring significant challenges in terms of developments. So we see that Boeing and Airbus are facing hard times, but we are very much conscious of, how important it is to meet the customer's commitment.
Meaning for the time being, those airlines wanting larger aircraft will just have to be patient.
The airlines have no choice but to complain and either switch from Airbus to Boeing or Boeing to Airbus.
In the future, competition might emerge from China or Abu Dhabi, with state-owned investment company Mubadala announcing it hopes to be making corporate jets in the United Arab Emirates within a decade.
Behind me, a Boeing 777 jet, one of the linchpins in the Boeing fleet at the moment. It's a long-range aircraft, could take you from here to Houston in the United States, or even as far away as Melbourne in Australia. And a little earlier in the week, on air, Randy Tinseth joined us from Boeing for a bit of a chat.
Well, over the last several years, we have been able to build our backlog, and with that large backlog, it has actually helped us weather this storm a little better than in past recessions. With our backlog that's well balanced by region of the world, we've been able to keep our production rates at reasonably consistent levels.
What about future orders though? You have got 840 orders as far as I know on the Dreamliner, the 787 Dreamliner, which is the most popular plane never built or that never flew at this stage. When is it going to happen? It's been delayed so much.
Well, clearly we've disappointed our customers with our performance on the Dreamliner, but we've made progress. As a matter of fact, the first airplane finished its modification. In the next couple of days, we'll finish modification on 2 more airplanes. So right now we're on track to fly the airplane before the end of the year. And with that airplane flying, going through a flight test program, we should make our first deliveries in late 2010.
So that was Boeing. Now to its major competitor Airbus, of course, with its very impressive A380 double-decker super jumbo jet, the undoubted star of any air show it is. We spoke to the CEO of Airbus, Tom Enders. We learned a lot of things. First and foremost, though, perhaps, was how loud a Typhoon fighter jet can be when it flies overhead during an interview. We do apologize for some of the audio quality in this next interview.
First of all, this is a very important region for global air traffic. It's a very important region for us at Airbus because important customers are here. But I think none of us came over this year and expected miracles on this air show. After all, we're in the midst of a world economic crisis. We've seen airlines taking tremendous hits in the last 12 months. But I think at the end of the day, at the end of this week, people will say that the Dubai Air Show 2009 has sent encouraging signals.
The A380 as an example, 200 orders, 20 deliveries. When are more of them going to be actually out there flying?
Let's remind ourselves that taking a 380 means a lot of money that customers, that airlines have to commit. So it's not surprising that, particularly in a crisis like that, airlines are careful with commitments as to the 380. But you know, if you listen to the customers, if you listen to Emirates, if you listen to Singapore, to Qantas, now Air France has become the 4th customer. They're all extremely positive about the 380 because the 380 is really a profit maker for them. I mean, it's a highly efficient aircraft in terms of operating costs, but it's also an aircraft that they all can charge premium prices, and they do that. So this is a real profit maker, and that's very good news, apart from the fact that the passengers obviously love it.
What about the A350 rolling off the production line though? You've got almost 500 orders, 493 orders. When are we, again, going to see that one flying?
Oh, it's it's still a very important focus for us. I mean, we are still not where we want to be in terms of production. It's still a huge challenge to produce these aircraft. They are very, very complex aircraft. And you're right, at the same time, we're now ramping up the production, the development, not the production yet, for the 350 long-range aircraft. We have a military aircraft that is also in advanced development, the 400M. So we have lots on our plate, but certainly the 380 is still one of the major challenges for us going forward.
Let's look more broadly at the industry itself at the moment. What are your customers telling you about an upturn, when they're going to start spending again? Because as you pointed out, these are expensive things to make, they're expensive things to buy.
Well, you know, a lot of discussions are around this. We are humble people. We're picking small orders as well. It doesn't have to be 50s or hundreds of orders, etc. But the discussions so far encourage me to believe, particularly in this region, that growth will pick up, that airlines get encouraged by the growth they see to also place more orders. Maybe less spectacularly so, and more incrementally to add to the orders that they have put already. And I think the Middle East has been privileged in this whole global economic crisis by seeing that the growth is, after temporary slowdown, growth is picking up again. Same some areas in Asia, as you know. So no, these discussions are positive. People over here are not pessimistic. They believe in air travel. They believe in the growth of air travel. We do ourselves. You know what? Air traffic is and airline business is one of the few industries where we can really assume that this is a long-term growth industry. You know, we just revised our forecast But for the next 20 years, we expect some 25,000 new aircraft. So that's
25,000?
yes. So we're talking about annual growth rates. Ups and downs are possible because it's cyclical, of 4 to 5% every year.
And that is it from Counting the Cost this week here in Dubai. Don't forget to check us out online at aljazeera.net/English. Hit the program's link, it'll take you through to the Counting the Cost page where you can catch up with this week's show and some of our previous editions as well. That's all from us here in Dubai this week. I'm Kamal Santamaria from the whole team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.